You're listening to No More Violence, the lead single off Alysha Brilla's third studio album, Human. She's supporting the album with a string of very unique shows, and we are lucky enough to have her right here this morning to chat about it all. Hi, Alysha.
Hi.
Oh my God, so gorgeous. Love the sound on this.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, so where do we begin? So you went to India.
Yeah.
Tell us about how that trip and the exploration of your ancestry really inspired the sound on this album.
Yeah, well, I was in India for about a month and a half. You know, a large part of my dad's background's Indian, although he's never been there. He was raised in Tanzania.
Yeah.
But going to India was really special because I was able to see the birthplace of like all of this beautiful music that I grew up kind of hearing.
And your uncle actually provided you with some records, right?
That really inspired you? My uncle who's in Toronto, who wakes up very early, so hello if he's watching. Yeah, he gave me a bunch of old Indian records like Ravi Shankar and Lata Mangeshkar and just all these beautiful Bollywood records that I was listening to and 70s styles. That's what you hear.
That's amazing. So how much did the 70s style kind of influence the sounds on this record? Is it much of an evolution from the other two?
Yeah, I think so. I would say so. I mean, I used more electronic elements in terms of production. So I produced all three records, and this one I started using more drum programming. So that's a bit different of a sound, but I'm really happy with it.
And you're so multi-talented. You're a multi-instrumentalist. Tell us about some of the instruments that you've incorporated, and that's part of your sound as Alysha Brilla.
Definitely in this album you hear more tabla, you hear a little bit of sitar. I play guitar and write most of the songs on it, so you'll hear that as the main instrument. But I do love the 70s sound, so the drums, organ, bass, you hear that in there.
Yeah, and I've read that your music is actually, you've got the lyrical talents of Bob Marley and the eclectic jazz notes of Amy Winehouse. You said, oh, is that not?
That's really nice. That's so sweet.
So what are your thoughts on kind of being part of that influential group?
Yeah, I mean, Bob Marley and Amy Winehouse are like, if my musical influences are a night sky, they're like the two brightest stars.
I love that.
So inspiring, and for different reasons, but both of them are really honest in their songwriting, and I think that's what I try to do.
Yeah, because when you're authentic, that's what really resonates with your fans.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
And for those of us that are listening and loving your music, I know the messaging in your music is very important, especially, you know, in the state of the world today. Tell us a little bit about what you want us to kind of take from your music.
Yeah, well, when I go on a stage, if it's at a festival or even like here, I know there's people watching and listening, so the thoughts that I'd really just love to get out to the world, I have an opportunity to sing them with the voice that I've been developing, and so I want to sing about equality and peace, and those are things I think are really important.
Did those things, were those always kind of instilled in you from when you were really young, or is it, you know, after studying yoga? Because I know you're a yogi as well, right?
Definitely. Well, it's funny, like when I was 15, I was working with a producer, I brought them a song, and the song was called Honesty, and I remember him and his mom like laughed at me. They're like, this is not going to go anywhere in the industry.
Because you were 15, or they?
Because the song was so earnest and had lyrics about, like, you know, good values, and they're like, this is not going to go anywhere. And so years later, I'm actually making a living off of, you know, music, writing with these messages. So
in terms of making a living, I wanted to ask you, because I'm really intrigued about how you find that balance between, you know, making this a career for yourself in that machine, right? The music industry machine, and still staying true to who you are and your beliefs.
Yeah. I definitely have really good friends and like a good community. Yeah, I live in Kitchener. Hello to KW.
I love that you're giving everyone a shout out. That's bright.
Mom, my cat. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, everyone is awake. Yeah, so I just have really good people, and they inspire me as well. Like I talked about Bob Marley and Amy Winehouse, but just, you know, the people I spend time with.
Do you ever feel, though, you know, a little like pushback from being in this music industry, because it can be very challenging at times?
It can.
And how do you then kind of reconcile those feelings? Of frustration or whatever it is.
A lot of crying, and then chocolate consuming.
Chocolate! I love that.
And saying, I'm never doing this again. And then I'm like, what am I talking about? This is my favorite thing in the world. So I guess it's like anything that you feel so passionate about, there's going to be kind of conflicting or mixed feelings. At the end of the day, though, this is something I've been dreaming and wanting since I was a little kid, just to make music and share it. So the fact that I'm doing it, I have to just remember I'm grateful for that.
So you wrote the 10 songs on this beautiful album. You're playing a bunch of unique shows. So explain to us exactly what that means, because you're playing like really cool locations, right? That are very fitting for you.
Yeah, very fitting. I mean, I have in the summers, usually when the festival shows are, if you go to my website, alyshabrilla.com, you see all the other shows. I'm going to Kelowna in 2 weeks to do 24 schools.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I'm going to sing and like talk to the kids, you know, and luckily my music has messages that seem transferable in that regard. So
well, I love that you're touching, you know, the young people, because that's the future.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Are you feeling hopeful about, you know, where the world is going?
Absolutely. Yeah, I am. And I think, yeah, they are the future. But I also think we all are. I really do. Like when people used to come into my school and tell me that, you know, you're the future, I'd be like, what about you? What are you doing? So now when I go into the schools, I definitely make sure I say, like, I'm just as responsible as you are for, you know, everything. But it's amazing to see them speak so wisely. And I feel like I learn from kids all the time. I'm sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right?
They're so inspiring, as are you. Thank you so much for this beautiful music. I can't wait for all of you guys to hear it, to pick up a copy of Alysha's new album, Human, and to grab some of the tickets to her show on November 5th at the Earthstock Center. Head on over to alyshabrilla.com. Don't go anywhere. Later, Alysha will perform her new single, No More Violence.